Greetings and salutations and welcome to this incredibly fun game, the game known as Kingdoms Rise. It is a deathmatch, sometimes team deathmatch, medieval fantasy sword fighting game. It's a directional combat based system, much similar to Mountain Blade and I think it's not Chivalry is the other one. War of the Roses. That game. Very, very similar in that you pick your direction, you attack from it, and for the enemy to beat you, they need to block in the corresponding direction and then hit you without you blocking. Really quite simple. It's a very deep combat system because it involves a lot of psyching out your opposition, knowing how long it takes someone to attack, how long it takes them to be ready to be blocked, and using your spells and special items to your extreme advantage to get those kills that you want. And it is incredibly fun. I cannot express how much I'm enjoying this game so far. It's just really, really enjoyable. And for once, maybe it happens occasionally, but only when I'm not fighting extremely skilled players, I happen to get myself the ever so lovely monster kill. Being made in the Unreal Engine, that is of course the sound you hear when you are slaughtering everybody. And it's incredibly fun, and due to kill streak rewards, once you have a monster kill, you're basically God, because you get the ability to one-shot instead of what's typically four-shot the opposition. Opposition? That's a thing. So, my kit is the mobility sword, and the different swords are all visual differences, but mobility sword actually fits the rest of my kit as well. And it looks the best, let's be honest. The flame sword's kinda cool, and the tank sword is great, but considering the type of game it is, I don't feel that the Eastern-styled curved swords are much fun. But that's just me. So I have the mobility sword, and I've got a bunch of aesthetic armor that's designed to look lightweight, because I basically am about 2 steps from becoming the Prince of Persia with that sort of outfit. Not to mention the fact that I don't like my shoulder pads taking up half my screen real estate and preventing me seeing which direction the enemy's attacking by. After all, that's the most important aspect, knowing where they're attacking so that you can hit them. I also have the throwing axe, which is a throwing axe grenade. Stabs into people, hurting them, and then explodes. If you don't hit them on the initial hit and it bounces, it will not stab into them, but it will still explode, because throwing axe. Downside of that item, as opposed to the 4 others, is that you only get 1, but, you know, bear traps, they're just silly. I've never even seen anyone use them. The bomb, not so fun. The bow, it's just cheap. No one's got a shield. It's not in the game, so why would you use a bow? Be a man, have a throwing axe. And then get into the fight after it blows up and kills all your enemies. There's a wide selection of spells available as well, and you have 2 spell slots with which you can actually equip the same spell twice. I'm quite fond of taking double teleport because it gives you extreme mobility around the battlefield, and it means that while one spell is on cooldown, you can usually just cast it again. You've usually got 1 teleport. At least 1 ready to get out of that bad situation. Maybe someone's thrown an axe and you need to get out of there, or maybe someone's trying to hit you with fireball and you need to dodge. Maybe someone's at a high ledge, or maybe someone's just seen you teleport and thinks, okay, that ability will be on cooldown for about 15 seconds, and you're like, well, nope, now I'm in your face, now I'm stabbing your face, now you're dead. It's the way it's gotta be. It is the way it gotta be. With this kit, like I've said, I've got extreme mobility. I'm really good at the tele assassinate. TP assassinations are the most hated tactic in the game because you just shouldn't. It's rude. Teleporting in and then killing the 2 people who are having a duel is very, very unsportsmanlike. But you still win the game. I ain't gonna complain if I'm winning, and I try not to use it to tele-assassinate. I usually use it to tele-assassinate the person who's just won. Like, if 2 people are obviously having a duel, I don't like to interfere. I'll throw my throwing axe in and maybe try and get the double kill. But if they're just sitting there dueling fairly, usually I'll sit back until one's killed the other, and then I'll double telefrag the survivor, because he's earned his death. But there's a lot of other abilities, such as the very obvious fireball, throw fire, it explodes, tries to kill people. There's also phase shift, which is OP as butts because it's got no cooldown and basically acts like a dodge. You can use it to prevent yourself taking damage for up to a second. It's really freaking annoying to be about to land a power attack, it'll kill some guy, and have him go, lol, nope, I'm not here. Now, have fun trying to beat me. There's also stealth, allowing you to turn invisible, although during the fact that this game is very early access, very buggy, at the minute, stealth is more you go invisible and some of your clothes go invisible. Do not equip the fire sword if you're doing that, because there'll just be a flaming particle effect following your sword as you sneak around. Everyone will notice you. But there's one guy, you've seen a few times now, the man with no clothes, who's become very good at stealth backstabs. He's not the best duelist in the world, although he's better than most of the people on the server at this time. But he's very good at breaking combat, and he's even better at initiating combat on two people who are having a fight and just going, oh, power attack in the back. The backstab. Very, very good. Very, very annoying. Now you'll see now that I'm very, very rapidly approaching the monster kill, and this is the only one I got in this game, and it was not cut off in this point. Sorry to spoil it, but it happens. Sadly, something else happens, which I'd like you to watch. As you see, I'm chasing our stealthy opponent. I've played with him before, a few times in fact, just today even, and so I know his tricks. I know how he works, and I've gotten fairly good at tracking him, but suddenly it's like, oh, there's 3 people in a fight, I've got 1 hit kill, let's get some stealth kills, get locked in a kill animation, 2-shot it. The man with no pants, greater than me, it seems. And able to outduel his opponent. I'm not sure if he ever actually won, but obviously not. But he was able to keep himself alive long enough to take me down again. And that just makes me disappointed. There's also stun spells and magic immunity spells, and if magic immunity isn't amazing, I don't know what is. But I prefer that high mobility. I prefer to do all my fighting in the fighting. Obviously other people disagree. That Tomp. I mean, just... Now he's got a shield, so he's a little bit obvious, because that shield you get after about 5 kills, and it's like, hey, you are immune to your next attack. Thankfully, throwing axes. When an axe is stuck in a man, it kind of sticks out. It's just... The nature of the game is incredibly skill-based, like I've said, and there's a lot of... There's 5 tutorials, 3 of which are just advanced combat techniques. You can chain attacks to reduce the cooldown between them. If you're very, very good, I can't get it to work for myself. You can do parry counters, which are incredibly powerful, theoretically, but don't know how to do them again. All I can figure out to do is block. Cannot get that parry counter.
So eager to die.
And it's more dangerous than it's worth, I find.
That's what you get.
And there's the simple concept of initiative. If someone attacks you and you attack them, whoever attacked first automatically wins. That's just how the game works. Because they're going to hit first, and therefore the other person is going to be stun-locked by that hit, very briefly, cancelling their attack. So the techniques to combat basically consist of attack, and then block. Or rather, one person's attacking until the other person gets a successful block, in which case he starts attacking, and the roles switch. If you just endlessly attack, you will be beaten every time, because eventually someone will block you, and then they'll just go, yep, I'm gonna kill you now. Because they're that one tiny step ahead in their attacks because of that block. And that phase shift is really freaking annoying, and if this guy wasn't the best duelist, I would hate him. But he was so much fun to fight against because our fights, I don't know who's going to win. Usually it was him because phase shift has a cooldown of about 1 second, but I can't hate a man for being good. Just can't do it. I just can't do it! It's incredibly fun. It'd be great to play with friends. It'd be great to just taunt them as you're doing them. And try and psych them out with words as well as actual combat. It's also really good in the team deathmatch mode and the team capture the flag sort of mode. That cannot describe how fun it is to have those little cluster bangs. Yes, the fights are not as skill-based when there's 9 people and you half the time seem to get stuck in kill animations and fighting animations. If you both, say, attack at the same time, there are certain animations that play... They look really, really cool, but if they lock you down for a second and then some guy comes running up and just kills both of you, really annoying. Team play, very, very fun. And there are moments when I'm sitting there like, I'm the only guy on my team. I'm winning. I'm in a 1v4, and I'm winning because A, high mobility means capturing flags super easy, and B, not always is the enemy team skilled. I ain't gonna lie. It's a very, very fun game, very challenging game, but a very simple game, and I think you should all really consider getting into it because it's only 1 GB to download. It looks pretty when it's not covered in bloom effects. Some of those maps are just like, hey, everything's blurry, have fun with that. To the point where I'm thinking, might turn off depth of field. I need to be able to see what's going on. There's a few too many particles at the minute, and there's no volume control in the game. But other than that, it's great. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the fields. Good night.